Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN OutLap. It is episode 36. It's March the 22nd, 2022, closing in on the end of the month and closing in on what will be the final round of the Challenge of the Americas in Sonoma, California. Again, those of you may be new to our OutLap podcast, these are all part of our EKN Trackside live coverage, essentially dialing things in, getting you ready to go for the weekend event, perfect for the commute to or from work. This edition of the EKN OutLap presented by Acceleration Kart Racing. Acceleration Kart Racing has everything you need to go racing, from tires to helmets. They have a great website for you to order from, and kart racers ready to pick up the phone and answer your questions 6 days a week. With over 20 years of kart racing under their belts, Acceleration Kart Racing has the experience to help you succeed on the track. You can rely on them to get the parts you need when you need them. Make Acceleration Kart Racing your go-to source for everything karting. Head to www.shopakr.com. All right, David, another series from 2022, getting ready to put the cap on it, and that's the Challenge of the Americas, the West Coast Winter Series. We're heading to Sonoma, California. I'm flying in tomorrow from here, from Barber Motorsports Park down here at the track for the Road to Indy and USF Junior Spring Training. Now heading back to Sonoma, flying into San Fran tomorrow. We'll roll down to pick you up on Thursday. Time to go racing again.
Yeah, excited to get back to Sonoma. Love that place. Love going there. Love the area. The racetrack is amazing, and we get to experience a revised racetrack. So that'll be exciting. Again, close out the 15th season for the Challenge of the Americas.
Yeah, Sonoma is just one of the most beautiful tracks in the country in terms of the view from where we are at start finish. But as a commentator, the racing is always so good. There's so many overtaking opportunities at the track. Always sets itself up for a good last lap battle, depending on how the event, the race is shaping up. So really excited about that one. Of course, the event officially March 25th, 26th, 27th, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this coming week. Sonoma, as David said, final two rounds 5 and 6 of a 6-round championship. Rock Cup tickets to the Super Final, the Rock Cup Super Final up for grabs, and of course, Rock Vegas as well. David has mentioned 15th season, David, for the championship, all beginning back in 2008.
Yeah, in the 5th season with Rock Cup USA, it's certainly made a progression from its start back in 2017 or 2018, I believe, and continued on. And again, we saw big numbers opening events, in Phoenix and Tucson and Phoenix, and now heading to Sonoma. They just wrapped up the Rock Sonoma opener last weekend at Sonoma, so the local drivers got their first event in. A number of probably competitors for Challenge in Americas were there getting prepped up and ready for this weekend.
Yeah, a little taste, right? A little bit of testing. So we'll be running the 7/10 mile, 11-turn track in the clockwise direction. For those of you who may have not been to Sonoma Raceway or maybe just watched it on TV, you know that there's a drag strip there. They run an NHRA National there. And, of course, NASCAR has been there in years past, and as has IndyCar for the road course. The kart track itself kind of up on the hill, a little bit south of the track itself. David, you kind of mentioned it a little bit. We're running the national layout, but as you teased, an updated tic-tac-toe section. Give us a little more insight on that.
Yeah, if you are familiar with the Sonoma circuit, it had a section called tic-tac-toe, which was really a really hardcore S's section, where you see a little back and forth. The left-hand corner was the corner where everybody would just essentially soar over the curbing. Something we saw similar to in Colorado at Grand Junction.
Yeah.
Same thing with Orlando.
Wasn't really even a corner, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah, drivers would just go straight through it. Very similar to Orlando, where they would hit the right-hander super hard to kind of make it a straight path to the next left. Well, this is a right, left, right section, and they have actually revised it to where they're more defined corners now. So it's a harder 90 right-hand and a harder 90 left-hander for the tick and the tack. Toe section is still the same. Which is essentially, it's kind of at a landing spot. They use the racetrack actually has helicopter landings for some of their bigger events.
Yeah.
And so we'll get to get some videos of that section and kind of, see. I saw some onboard video from this past weekend, and it's certainly more defined corners to where you're not just driving straight through in the left-hander.
So instead of tic-tac-toe, it's more of a tic-tac-toe.
It's
right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, obviously you still kind of call it that section because obviously you keep the name going. But yeah, it's a longer tick and a longer tack.
Indeed. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I haven't seen it. David, Sonoma has really, we talked about 15 years of the series. Sonoma really has been a big, big part, right? The 11th time that this Challenge of the Americas has gone to Sonoma. It's kind of been that awesome place to finish it up, wrap it up. A number of years, 11 times Sonoma has been the finale for the Challenge of the Americas.
Yeah, it was the original finale location in 2008. But they actually had it wasn't. It was the middle event, and they actually had torrential rains that canceled round 4, and they had to actually move that to Xplex. So, there's a lot of history at Sonoma. Obviously, being the finale from 2010 to 2011, and then had a run from 2014 to 2019. Obviously, we were not there in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic that hit, that canceled that event. But we went right back there last year in 2021. So a lot of championships have been decided. Again, we've run this in the clockwise and the counterclockwise directions. I believe, changed it up last year with removing the tack and the toe section last year because we only ran the tick. We did a kind of a double right-hander there, so it changed things up a little bit there too as well. So we've run multiple different layouts, we've different directions, and lots of championships decided in Sonoma.
So when Sonoma's great, it's great. When it's not great, it's cold and rainy because it is the spring, as we know. David, let's talk about weather right now. Could be nice, 70s, right? Friday, Saturday. But looking at the weather forecast for Sunday, maybe not quite ideal.
Yeah, as of right now, or when I wrote the script, it had a 41% chance of rain being cold as well. Right now, I'm seeing only 38% chance, so that's better. And the temperature's gone up. It's saying 65 now to where it was saying in the 40s. So
yeah, I'll take that.
70s on Friday and Saturday with really no percent chance of rain, but Sunday's still a 38% chance with at least warmer temperatures. If it's a warm rain, that'll be a lot better than cold rain.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Let's have a look at the event schedule. Wednesday and Thursday, unofficial practice run by the racetrack. So if you haven't had a chance to be to Sonoma, you can get on track there on Wednesday and Thursday. But Friday, David, the normal challenge setup with 3 8-minute sessions, and in the afternoon, a 12-minute session, and the longer hot pit open qualifying pre-qualifying session, 17 minutes long. I love that session at the end of the day where we have the open hot pit.
Yeah, again, provides the opportunity for drivers to come in and kind of get a race setup going and figure out what's working, what's not, especially at that time of the day. Also, an opportunity for drivers to put in some qualifying sim runs, come in, change tires, put new tires back on, and kind of get an idea of what to expect for qualifying now that a lot of the rubber has been laid down and the track's certainly going to be optimal grip at that time of day. But yeah, it's a good time, and then we'll hopefully set up for what we're hoping to do another tent talk at the end of the day, Friday. Talked with Brown White Racing. We're going to be under that tent Friday evening, so we'll be able to chat with him and a bunch of the CRG drivers under the tent.
Yeah, looking forward to another tent talk there with Ron White. Saturday and Sunday, rounds 5 and round 6, respectively. Warm up in the morning. Qualifying and pre-finals, 14 laps for all the categories other than cadet. They'll run 11. Final events, of course, to cap off the day. 20 laps, finals. Cadet drivers running 16 lappers. Folks, first break of the action. When we get back, we'll jump into the numbers. We'll let you know what we've got in terms of pre-entry coming into the event. And we'll do that after this break. You can buy all the latest and greatest products on the market. But when you're karting to win, it boils down to one thing: you, the driver. Gain the knowledge and abilities by investing in yourself at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and you'll find those extra tenths of a second you need to put yourself on the podium. The school was established by Superkarts USA Hall of Fame driver Alan Rudolph, with decades of victories and championships in multiple forms of the sport, including other disciplines of racing. The Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, located at the Speed Sports Racing Park in the metropolitan Houston area, is designed to teach driving skills at all levels. The instructors of the Academy have decades of racing experience and educating drivers of all ages. Classes at the Academy will teach the concepts and skills needed both behind the wheel and off the track. From the beginning kart racing experience and intro to karting courses, to their advanced 1-day and 2-day courses and karting clinics, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can improve the skills of any driver. For more information on the specific programs that the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can provide for you, head to speedsports.com and click on the Racing Academy page. Be sure to follow the Academy on social media by searching for Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. There's a new hot button name in American safety equipment: Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. The ST5 KRT karting helmet is available for $599. Manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material, the KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for the younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision. The perfect youth helmet is available for $549. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva Rib Protector is unlike any on the market, with its form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. Head to StiloHelmets.com to review these and many more products to keep you safe on the track. Stilo. Any competition, one helmet. Welcome back to the EKN OutLap for this coming weekend's Challenge of the Americas, the finale in Sonoma. Overall, the 95 drivers pre-entered right now, and that's significantly down from where we were at PKRA. That we could get some walk-ups, of course, the local drivers maybe from Sonoma coming in as well. But there's a conflict this weekend, right? The Texas Sprint Racing Series is running a week before the SCUSA Pro Tour Opener Winter Nationals out at NOLA. So I know that there are a number of drivers who have elected to go run that race as opposed to capping things off here in Sonoma.
Yeah, that's part of it. And the local contingent hopefully are going to be at track entries so we can get over that 100 mark. Having their first event this past weekend, probably people were not anxious to pre-enter for the challenge weekend, depending on how things go. So we're hoping to see, I would think at least 10 drivers. So hopefully that'll get us over that 100 mark. Yep. And then and go from there and see what else we can get. But yeah, it's very interesting. We're down almost 30 from PKRA and almost down 30 from last year's race at Sonoma. So again, hopefully we'll get more of those walk-ups on the weekend.
Well, and I think we're seeing some of the drops, right? Micro's down to 2 from 5. We lost a handful of drivers in Mini Rock down to the 14 mark. We don't really even need to talk about the junior and senior Rock classes. It's been non-existent this year. Masters Rock down a couple. We'll talk. We'll dive more into it. We know a couple of drivers could be, at track decisions. But still pretty strong. 100cc junior from 25 down to 23. So a couple extra entries, and we matched the junior category from Phoenix. A total of 10 down from senior 100cc. Another one of the bigger classes, David, at that SCUSA Pro Tour event. So it's not a direct conflict, but with the Texas Sprint Series running this weekend, I have to think a couple of those guys in 100cc senior may be going to New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that's where you see a majority of the numbers fall is that category. And then Rock Shifter as well, too, down to 12. I would expect though some locals to be entering that race, that category as well too. So, again, not completely bad in terms of numbers, but again, we obviously know the different factors as to why we're seeing what we're seeing and what to expect, going forward.
Indeed. Hey, bottom line is we're going racing. The Masters drivers who run the challenge, hanging with the challenge. 11 drivers again in 100cc Masters, and 10 drivers in Rock Shifter Masters. And again, as David said, there are a number of local drivers running in the Rock Shifter category, so maybe we'll get some late entries, some at-track entries to bump that up. No doubt we're going to get over 100. Will we get to 105? Will we get to 110? That's what we'll see. Bottom line is, David, only 6 Canadians, 2 down from Phoenix. Everything kind of settling in, with the border, the whole crossing still getting testing back and forth. Interesting that the testing actually will, to get back to Canada, if you're fully vaxxed, you will not have to get tested, but that's into April. We'll be done by that time. But as things start to ease, I think you'll see more Canadians coming down to run that challenge in 2023.
Yeah, I think that's the key aspect to getting those numbers up even higher. There's a good contingent of Canadian drivers on the west side of the country that enjoy coming to the Challenge of the Americas and haven't been able to do that. And I'm sure there's going to be some more new drivers that haven't experienced the Challenge of the Americas with the growth in karting in Canada as well as here in the United States. So again, that's just the continuation of the evolving of the series and introducing new people and getting new people back, or former racers back. And it continues to evolve, but hopefully, yes, once we begin 2023 Challenge of the Americas, we'll have no issues with the border crossing.
Another quick break. We get back. David and I will dive into the Shifter Rock and Shifter Masters Rock. We'll look at the drivers we have entered. We'll look at the points coming into the finale. It is going to be some great racing. Shifter's always impressive and fun to watch at Sonoma. Don't go with us, folks. More to come in this edition of the OutLap. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win.
History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside of Indianapolis, and they have provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers throughout their near 6 decades of business. Comet's online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. Comet Kart Sales attends dozens of karting events every year, offering trackside service for racers and families. Karting veterans Mark Dismore Jr. and Gary Lawson provide one-on-one driver coaching and tuning assistance for each trackside customer. The engine building business, Comet Racing Engines, has won countless major events and championships over decades of karting, and they continue to offer the best trackside service in the industry. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be a part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome back to the EKN OutLap, episode number 36. It is March the 22nd. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. both of us getting set to head to Sonoma, California, flying into San Francisco for the final rounds of this year's Challenge of the Americas. I'm looking forward, as always, to shifter racing at Sonoma. There's been so many big races throughout the years, and it's always just a great place to run shifters. In the shifter rock class, David, 12 pre-entries in total. Winners on the year, Kyle Wick, of course, sweeping the action at Tucson. Jacob Gulick and Hunter Pickett.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a good GFC battle between the top two drivers under the tent, at least for this weekend, with Pickett obviously having a championship under his belt. Gulick and now into second year in the shifter category. Both picked up victories in Phoenix to kind of put the almost kind of put the score even. Pickett obviously had a better weekend in Tucson ahead of Gulick, as they were both chasing Kyle Wick, who was not in Phoenix. So that's kind of shooken up the championship chase. So it's, Pickett's going to be at his home track. So Gulick's obviously got work to do. But Pickett's going out there to try and claim some history and be the first driver to ever score 2 championships in the rock shifter division.
Kyriakos Soukas, a local driver as well, so he knows that track with Speed Sense. We'll see if he's able to dial things in. One of the big things, David, Hannah Greenmeyer and Kyle Wick, the 2 drivers who will not be there this weekend. Both those drivers, of course, running the SCUSA Pro Tour, will be at the Texas race, as I mentioned before. So no Wick, no Greenmeyer, very likely a 3 or 4 driver battle up front.
Yeah, I would think right now for the championships between Pickett and Gulick, but I think on the racetrack itself, I don't think you can count out Soukas. It's his rookie season, but Sonoma's a home track. Performed pretty well last weekend. Obviously you got to count in Ron White. Ron White's going to be in the mix. It's his home track as well too. The ageless Ron White, that is, and I believe Martin is going to be racing as well too. I'm not sure on that, but I think he raced last weekend at the regional as well. So I would think he might have an opportunity to be. Ryan Martin might have an opportunity to be in the mix as well too. Other names, I think those are kind of, and Cody Hodgson. That's the other name I was looking for.
That's it. Yeah.
And he's again. He's kind of like a Ron White, a veteran driver, has a lot of laps. Also, Remo Ruskitty, the Canadian coming down. That's going to be. There's going to be some drivers that could put a challenge for the top spot. It's a matter of how good is Pickett going to be. I think that's going to be the measuring stick.
And I also I expect I'll be talking about Micah Hendricks too, right? Micah's been strong all year long, able to run tracks in Tucson and Phoenix that he's knows really well. He obviously knows Phoenix very well. So let's keep Micah Hendricks in the conversation as well. But I think that's pretty much the drivers we look for. 12 pre-entries, as I said, but you mentioned Ryan Martin, David. We may get up to 13, 14, 15 in this category.
Yeah, that's where I see some walk-ups coming in. Hopefully we'll get a couple more, and then obviously in shifter Masters Rock as well too.
Yeah, indeed, the Masters category is going to be good. We have 10 drivers in total in the shifter Masters class. Jimmy McNeil, a couple of wins in Tucson. Cliff Cuela and Kevin Woods, the winners in Phoenix. McNeil did not make the run to Phoenix, David. So Cuela and Woods only 63 points apart coming into the finale here this weekend. And Nick Firestone just 70 points back too. So all 3 of those drivers in the championship battle.
Yeah, that's going to be a good little mix. Again, nobody's really stood out. Obviously Woods and Cuela have those victories. Firestone's was good in Phoenix, didn't quite have the luck he wanted to have in Tucson. But still was able to pull out some good runs. Maybe he'll get a little magic in Sonoma to kind of help spark up a championship run against the 2 drivers that were the top drivers last year, including Woods trying to repeat as champion.
Do you lean towards Woods with the track knowledge and how much time he's got at Sonoma?
You got to go with that. He's not entered, so I've already confirmed he'll be racing there. So that's another entry that we'll gain there as well too. So you got to imagine he'll be the measuring stick, kind of like Hunter Pickett will be in Rock Shifter as well. So that's going to be the guy to watch certainly in practice and warm up.
I think there's lots of other guys here as well. We got Nick George for Team Visalia. He's entered to come up. With Team Visalia, maybe we'll get to Jimmy McNeil. We'll see whether or not he comes up. Fernando Diaz was good out of the gate at Tucson as well, running for GFC and Formula Works. But we also have the entry for Patrick O'Neill for Ron White Racing. David, Patrick, always really good at his home track in Sonoma.
Yeah, home track knowledge goes a long way, especially at Sonoma, the way the racetrack changes. Yeah. And so, yeah, this Masters class is probably going to be a good battle both days.
So again, we'll see what happens in that championship fight. I like the fact that there's only 70 points between Quiella, Woods, and Firestone. A lot of other drivers coming in to potentially scrap it out and kind of mix things up in terms of who can get top points, because Woods and Firestone need good points coming in. Quiella, a little more breathing room, with potentially able to have a DNF if things do not go well. Another quick break. When we get back, it'll be Masters Rock, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Junior Rock and Senior Rock categories. David will fill you in on the one entry we have there. Otherwise, Masters Rock dominating the next section.
Are you ready to go from karts to cars? Since 1975, the Skip Barber Racing School has taken great drivers and made them champions. Today, we're proud to welcome the next generation of winners. Make the transition from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. You'll compete at the most iconic tracks in America. Race weekends include your very own equalized Formula 4 race car, a professional crew, expert instruction, video and data analysis, hospitality, and more. This is the place to fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. Sign up today by calling 866-932-1949 or visit us at skipbarber.com.
The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find a North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Welcome back to episode 36 of our EKN OutLap, and we'll touch quickly here on Masters Rock. 6 pre-entries in total. I got to think we're going to have a couple of extra entries coming in later. But David, the bottom line is this year's Masters Rock dominated by Derek Wang, one of the top Masters drivers in karting worldwide.
Certainly is. He's among the top drivers across the globe, racing at all over Europe, winning multiple racing at multiple events, all different engine manufacturers, and looking to become a 4-time champion here at the Challenge, 4-time straight champion at Challenge of the Americas. He's got four straight wins going right now, heading into Sonoma. Last year had a streak going and had that end with a mechanical issue, I believe, on Saturday. So I think he's going to try and go for the perfect score for the 2022 season.
Yeah, and if they only have 6 entries all total, he's going to essentially win it by starting the main event. If he wins the race, obviously it's outright with 5 wins as you drop your worst event. Chris Mann's been pretty good throughout the year as well. He and Billy Cleveland kind of been the best of the rest. 85 points back for Chris Mann. Cleveland in third in points. What are you hearing about Mike Giles and David Pergande, David, in terms of running this weekend? I see the notes here says race weekend decision. What's the plan?
Yeah, Giles and Pergande are 4th and 5th in the championship, so they're kind of there to battle for that third step on the championship podium. Right now, they're not entered, so they could be race weekend decision after how Thursday practice goes. But they are going to be both there racing again in the 100cc. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
So again, Derek Wang, the man here right now, looking to get another championship. As David said, that streak of titles. And again, Wang just keeps winning, coming off that SCUSA Super Nationals win last December as well. So just keeps adding it up. David, how about just a quick little overview of Senior Rock and Junior Rock? It's been a weird thing, kind of a look at what's going on with karting on the West Coast. Just not a lot of guys jumping on board the 125cc liquid cooled tag program. Just the one entry on the weekend.
Yeah, Carson Bowers is the lone entry in Senior Rock. We do not have a Junior Rock driver. That was Tristan Young, who competed both in Tucson and Phoenix. He is elected not to run that category on the weekend, so it'll just be the one Senior Rock driver, which I assume would be in with the Masters Rock class. So if we do get walk-ups, they'll be able to compete in that category. But again, that's kind of been the story for the 2022 season is there's not a lot of 125 tag racing on the West Coast.
That's it. Tough one for sure. But again, that's just part and parcel of kind of the ebbs and flows of the sport. 100cc picking up so much momentum over the last year and a half, 2 years. Let's have another break. When we get back, we'll talk 100cc. We'll go senior, junior, and master, all 100cc in this next segment. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the junior, senior, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for 2022 include the Ignite Majors, featuring events at the Daytona International Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Quincy Grand Prix, Newcastle Motorsports Park, and the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the 5-round regionally based Ignite Challenge at tracks in Illinois, Ohio, and Missouri. Local club programs have also been established in other states like Idaho, Texas, Nebraska, New York, Florida, and more. Join Margay Racing for some fast, fun, and great memories at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Welcome back to this edition of the EKN OutLap, previewing this coming weekend's finale for the Challenge of the Americas in Sonoma, California. Looking forward to getting up to that fantastic racetrack and joining again everybody involved with the FTK Promotions and Challenge of the Americas family. Rob Haddon alongside David Cole. David, 16 entries all total in the senior 100cc category. Jake Drew with a couple of race wins. Hodgson with a couple as well for Comp Kart and J3 competition. Oliver Hodgson. We're not going to have Jake Drew, but not for the reason that everybody else has had before going to SCUSA. Jake's actually got one of his ARCA races, I believe, this weekend, right?
Yeah, Jake will be at Irwindale Speedway, so near his probably his home track, I would think, for oval stuff and in the stock car ranks. So he has the ARCA West program that is going to be racing there, so he will not be in Sonoma. So he's going to focus on that. A good program going for him in the 2022 season. Again, racing karts whenever he can with GFC Racing and Formula Works. So that opens up the championship to Kyriakis Soukis, who's sitting second and has a pretty sizable lead over last year's champion, Liam Lech. So you got OTK versus GFC going in for the championship in this category.
Yeah, this is going to be a good battle because I think, I got Soukis versus Lech for sure. Eddie Shimon, I think coming off, I think he had a win last weekend, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the categories Eddie Shimon did for GFC. So throw him in there as well. But you got to figure throughout this entire battle, it's going to be Kyriakis Soukis, Liam Lech, and likely Oliver Hodgson, right? The three drivers we expect to see kind of up front for a majority of the weekend.
Yeah, Hodgson obviously got the near perfect score in Phoenix. Swept every on-track session, just didn't get fast laps. That went to Jake Drew in both main events. So Hodgson didn't go to Tucson, so that essentially doesn't really put him in the championship chase yet. He is only, 150 points out of first, with Soukis now the championship leader. So, a lot of things could happen. Soukis could have issues. Lech could have issues. Cole Schrader could have issues as well, too, and move him further up in the standings. Cole Schrader's not even going to be there, or isn't entered at least right now. So he might be another one of those drivers that is racing over at NOLA for this weekend. So a lot could happen in terms of the championship going in. And then again, like you said, different drivers that could kind of step up and kind of make things interesting. Eddie Shimon, one of them, knows a lot about the Sonoma racetrack. Mm-hmm. So that could be a wild card as well too in the championship alone, let alone the podium results for the weekend.
I'm really interested in when you get the spreadsheet out, David, because let's see what Hodgson can do. If he comes out of the gate and has a perfect Saturday, and Soukis potentially has some issues, as does maybe Lech. I think it'll be interesting to see how things shake down in terms of the calculations moving forward, because a lot of points up for grabs throughout the day, right?
Yeah, 100 and what is the perfect score? 115 is a perfect score. So, no, sorry, 120. That's the perfect score, because then you get the fast lap bonus. So, yeah, 120 points, so 240 for the weekend. That gives them a lot of points. In terms of championship chase, almost up to 500, to where, Jake Drew sitting at 422 overall. He could still end up third in the championship by not even being in Sonoma. Again, it all depends on how things shake out. But I would think Soukis and Lech, they're not going to have any issues themselves. It'll be something that happens to them. Or again, you never know about mechanical issues always happen as well too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I do like the craziness that Hodgson might have a chance to land on the championship podium.
There's a storyline, right?
That's exactly it.
Where there's a storyline there, we can follow up. Sure, and Oliver, obviously has the talent to get it done. It all depends on whether they dial things in. 23 pre-entries in total in junior 100cc. The 2022 winners thus far: Gonzalez, Lambert, Vasquez, and Cameron. 4 different winners, David, for the 4 different races. Are we going to see potentially? Do we go 6 winners? Do you think?
We did last year. That was the storyline in this category. We had 6 winners in the 6 different rounds, and it was truly an exciting category. And I think it's kind of held that banner for 2022 thus far. And Cameron, as a former winner, won. This is his home racetrack, so you got to expect him to be kind of the measuring stick going into the weekend. Lambert, though, another NorCal driver who won round 2 in Tucson, he could be another driver that's up there as well. So, I don't know. Vasquez isn't going to be there, so that's we won't have a repeat winner with him. Gonzalez will be there, so we have 3 different drivers trying to add to their win total in 2022.
I'm thinking if we're going 6 winners, maybe put some spotlight on a Cooper Auclair, Steven Eisert, or John Antonino. Those are 3 drivers I think could step up and potentially find a win, right? They could be up front for sure.
Yeah, you got to go Eisert for sure. NorCal driver, knows the racetrack very well. Sitting 6th in the championship. Auclair sitting 2nd in the championship right now, only 16 points out of first behind Christian Cameron. So Eau Claire was pretty good last year and didn't quite get the results he wanted. I think he might have picked up a win based on penalties last year. Let me double check that. But I know ICERT was among the front runners all of last year there. Yeah. So yeah, Cooper Eau Claire picked up the victory in the final round there. So he's got a win in Sonoma. It's his only victory there. ICERT won round 5 that was at Sonoma. So those two drivers both have wins last year at Sonoma. So they're probably the favorites in terms of trying to keep it 6 drivers.
Hey, listen, with the 4 different winners this year, the other cool thing is no one's been able to kind of step out, right, and get multiple wins to take a big point lead. You mentioned Cooper Eau Claire only back by 16, Gonzalez by 37, Tristan Young by 77, and Lambert 81. 81 points, David, separating the top 5 drivers. This championship totally wide open still.
Yeah, again, ICERT sitting in 6th, 131 back. He could come in and do a full weekend sweep and get maximum points and put himself at least maybe a battle for 3rd, depending on, how things unfold. Because again, if you have 2 bad rounds this weekend, that's going to certainly hurt you. So again, he's going to need some racing luck on his side. But again, pretty cool championship chase. This will be the one that will be on the spreadsheet all weekend for.
Yeah, it certainly will. Just like Masters Rock, Masters 100cc has been dominated by one driver. Ian Kunchez has won all 4 races, 11 pre-entries coming into the event. He has an 84-point lead over David Pergande, Mike Weatherman in there as well, Preston Newberry also there within 97 points. Top 7 in points, all competing. So we got a bunch of drivers, David, here at 100cc Masters. Let's cross our fingers we get a couple of locals to pump this class up a little bit. But again, Ian Kunchez in a really good position to win this title.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much dominant. He's just been able to win those main events. Yeah. It's not like a Derek Wayne dominance because all these drivers have been in the mix. It's just Kunchez has been able to come out on top. Yeah. So I think that's the same type of battle we're going to see this weekend. Kunchez, I think, picked up a win last year in this category. Let me double check that. But, I think we're still going to see that tight battle up front with multiple different drivers, in the mix trying to go for it. Yeah, Kunchez finished 3rd and 2nd as Carlos Calderon and Mike Smith picked up victories last year. So, again, I still see a multiple driver lead group all weekend long, just like we've seen all year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This has been a really good class throughout the entire year with guys battling back and forth, different guys getting the pole position, qualifying. Ian Kunchez has just been the guy that's been able to kind of stay out of trouble, use that speed he has to be able to pull away. We also mentioned that Brett Harrelson and Luke Tracy all in top 10 in points, all on the grid. And again, hoping for some more late walk-ups to pump this one up a little bit. All right, guys, final break of the action on this edition of our EKN OutLap. Mini Rock and Micro Rock. We'll preview them after this. Technology, design, and manufacturing. These components make Kart Republic a world champion. The Kart Republic chassis has earned 2 FIA World Karting Championships. Here in the U.S., the brand has earned multiple victories and championships in senior, junior, and cadet competition. Kartsport North America is the country's importer and distributor for Dino Chiesi's Kart Republic chassis, and as a leader in American karting, they are focused on providing stability for the sport and quality products and service for the community. Whether you'd like to find out about the Kart Republic dealer closer to you or schedule an arrive and drive package with an official North American race team, contact Kartsport North America through their official website, www.kartsportna.com. We are Republic. We are one. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at www.franklinkart.com, where all our products are just a mouse click away. We're constantly adding to the growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, Tillett seats, ceramic products, driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, OTK products, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Welcome to the final segment of this edition of the EKN OutLap, episode number 36, March the 22nd, Tuesday. We're going to be heading west to fly into San Francisco this coming weekend for the final rounds of the Challenge of the Americas. We're looking forward to what is always good racing at Sonoma Raceway. David, 14 entries in total in the mini rock category. 2 drivers have been able to win so far, Ashton Moon and Gage Korn. But the battle for the championship, a lot closer than just having the 2 drivers who have won, correct?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a pretty intense and interesting scenarios as this championship unfolds over the last 2 rounds. We have Gage Korn. He's got 2 victories under his belt. He also has a DNF from that second round in Tucson. So 2 wins and a third place finish are his 3 best results going in. He only holds a 2-point advantage over Mateo Quinto, who has 2 podium results in Tucson. And then you add in Turner Brown, who's 33 points back. He also has 1 podium finish. So then you look at Ashton Woon. Ashton Woon has 2 victories, and then I want to say a top 5 finish in Tucson. Unfortunately, suffered a disqualification in round 4. I want to say it was for tire width, or not tire width, but kart width. So that is a disqualification. I'm not sure that's a droppable DQ. So,
you're right.
So he might have to count that race and then drop what right now would be his top 5 finish in Tucson. So that loses him. So that drops him basically over 100 points out of first when you factor in the drop that way. So Woon has the ability. Maybe he can come in, pick up 2 more victories, and put himself maybe in the top of the championship. And then forcing that top 5 finish to be his drop. But that's something we'll have to clear up again. We're not sure what's droppable, what's not droppable, because, different series have different rules on what they allow and don't allow for removal for the championship. So that's something we'll get hold of on Friday when we get Trackside. But and then you throw in Braylon Edwards, who's sitting 5th, only 53 points out of first. So a lot of different drivers in the mix this weekend.
Yeah, Braylon Underwood, you mean? Indeed.
Braylon, yes.
Yeah, Braylon Underwood for sure. 2 points up front, like you said, between Korn and Quinto. Turner Brown knows this racetrack with GFC, local track for Turner, which is good. I think you'll throw Ty Fisher in there, the race lab driver who's been getting quicker throughout the weekend as well, or out the year as well. I like the battle up front here because this particular racetrack, I think it always races really good with drivers in the cadet categories too, right? It's wide open enough and flowing enough that you can get 5, 6, 7 karts in a front pack. That's what I'm looking forward to this weekend, David. It's a event where we see a bunch of drivers up front, and they got to play the strategy game. And Ashton Moon's going to have to, like you said, if indeed he can't drop that technical DQ or that DQ that he had from round 4, he's going to want to come in and sweep the points, because not only are you taking points for yourself, you're taking points away from other drivers as well. Ashton may have to sweep to get this championship.
That's exactly it. And, we've seen that group racing all season long at the challenge in mini rock category. So I would expect to see that happen once again. Yeah. Maybe you'll see a couple drivers kind of step out and maybe they'll be able to break away. That's if they work together. If they don't work together, then, the pack is going to come back right in.
That's very true. Very true. We've actually at one point had a handful of micro rock drivers. What are we seeing here right now, David? Cason Hodge has kind of swept things. He's been really good good in the micro rock category. What do you think? What do you think about? Is there any possibility for some at track entries for micro rock?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the results from last weekend, so I'm not sure what the contingent is for the local scene in the micro rock. We'll see Case and Hodge there. He's not entered. Julian Sanchez and Rocco Simone are the only drivers entered. We know Simone probably won't be there. He hasn't been at the other two events as well. Yeah. He'll probably be in Texas with Parolin USA there. So you got to expect, Kaysen will be competing against Sanchez. Again, they race with the mini rock class as well. No word on Popescu, Luca Popescu. I sent out a message, didn't hear back if he's either there or not going to be there at all. So yeah, we'll see if we can get some walk-ups. Again, this is a category we've seen continue to grow. Unfortunately, we're not getting the numbers this weekend that we've seen in the previous 2 weekends with, the local contingent adding to the numbers.
Again, folks, looking forward to getting to Sonoma for the final round of this year's Challenge of the Americas. It's been a good season, some great racing as well. Throughout the weekend, make sure you follow us on ekartingnews.com/live. We'll have my live play-by-play throughout the weekend. Looking forward to that. Of course, getting back into the booth there at the Challenge. Always great racing. And as a commentator, you want to go to a track that leads itself to great racing. And this is one of those facilities where I know I'm going to be calling passes in probably 5 or 6 different parts of this racetrack. It's just so raceable. Had a chance to actually race there at the Challenge a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it. Should be a fantastic weekend. Follow us on all our social media platforms. As you know, David will have things rolling. We'll have our top 10s for all the sessions on Twitter and Facebook as we do. We'll get a ton of stuff going on our Instagram page. We're doing our tent talk as well, live on YouTube and Facebook on Friday evening. David, we're dialing that in with the guys from Ron White Racing, correct?
We are looking to go to the CRG home of NorCal, which is Ron White Racing, and talk with Ron himself and a couple other drivers. Hopefully, we'll speak with Kevin Woods. It'd be great to kind of sit down and talk with him. That's a driver that could be one of those drivers. That news of the KZ Masters program happening at the FIA World Championships. We could see some of the drivers here at the Challenge competing in that over there.
Agreed. Make sure to follow us as well. All the hashtags, hashtag EKN at Coda, hashtag Let's Rock, and hashtag Sonoma. We'll be using those along with hashtag Team Cooper Tire. Big thank you to Team Cooper Tire for being on board with us again as part of our EKN Trackside Live program. That's it for the OutLap, folks. Diving through all the categories that we'll see. This edition, of course, brought to you by Acceleration Kart Racing. And as I said, both David and I trekking into Sonoma, San Francisco, later this week to get things underway. Final round of the Challenge for the 15th year. What a tremendous run it's been for Andy Saisman and the whole FTK Promotions crew. Bigger things, of course, to come in the future, and looking forward to capping off this edition of the championship, March 25th, 26th, 27th, Sonoma Raceway, one of the finest tracks in the country, and looking forward to being there once again to call all the action. Hope you join us throughout the weekend. Should be a fantastic battle in every one of the categories. The championship's up for grabs, and many of them, not all, of course. Derek Wang has things pretty much locked, as does Ian Kunchez in those 2 Masters classes. But, we definitely have battles in shifter and battles in our 100cc categories as well. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of the EKN OutLap. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.